You've been told a lie so big and so pervasive that it dictates every single moment of your life. That lie is, you need to control your time. You need to manage it, hack it, conquer it. You need to squeeze every last drop of productivity out of every single second. We buy the planners, download the apps, and create schedules so rigid they'd make a drill sergeant blush. And what's the result? Stress, burnout, and the constant, nagging feeling that you are failing at the one thing you can never get more of, time. But what if the entire premise is wrong? What if the secret to a productive, peaceful, and meaningful life isn't to control time, but to synchronize with it, to flow with it, not against it? In this video, we're going to dismantle the myth of time management and show you how to work like time itself, one small, perfect moment at a time. This isn't just a philosophy. It's backed by history, neuroscience, and the most fundamental principles of physics. Point 1. The clock that caged us to understand our problem. We have to go back in time. For most of human history, we didn't manage time. We lived within it. Time was cyclical. It was the sunrise, the sunset, the changing of the seasons, the rhythm of hunger and rest. That it was the 14th century when the mechanical clock became widespread in Europe. Historian Lewis Mumford called the clock, not the steam engine, the key machine of the modern industrial age. Why? Because it did something no natural cycle ever could. It broke time down into abstract, mathematical, and equal units. Seconds, minutes, hours. A second at dawn was now identical to a second at midnight. This invention created a new reality. Time was no longer a river we floated in. It became a resource to be spent, a currency. And if time is money, you better not waste it. This mindset created the modern condition of time anxiety. Science backs this up. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky identified a cognitive bias called the planning fallacy. It's the universal tendency to underestimate the time needed to complete a future task, despite knowing that similar tasks have taken longer in the past. We create our perfect, jam-packed schedules based on pure optimism, ignoring reality. When we inevitably fail to meet this impossible schedule, our brain releases stress hormones like cortisol. We feel like failures, not because we are lazy, but because we set ourselves up to fight a battle we can never win. We are fighting the very nature of reality. Point 2. The physics of flow. So, if controlling time is a losing game, what's the alternative? The answer comes from both ancient wisdom and modern physics. Think of time as a river. The goal of a master canoeist isn't to stop the river, or speed it up, or change its direction. That's insane. The goal is to learn its currents, to understand its power, and to paddle with it, using its own energy to move you forward. This is the principle of flow. The psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi dedicated his life to studying this. A flow state, which you've likely experienced, is a state of total immersion in an activity. When you're in flow, your sense of self vanishes. Your sense of time distorts. Hours can feel like minutes. You are not managing the moment, you are the moment. Your actions and your awareness are merged. This isn't just a feeling, it's a neurological state. Brain scans show that in a flow state, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-criticism, planning, and your sense of self, temporarily deactivates. This is called transient hypofrontality. You literally silence your inner critic and obsessive planner, allowing you to perform at your peak with effortless concentration. You don't force your way into flow. You create the conditions for it. And the most important condition is to stop trying to wrestle the clock into submission. Point 3. Quantum habits. How to live in the flow. This all sounds great, but how do we actually do it? How do we apply this in a world of deadlines, emails, and responsibilities? We do it by copying time itself. Time doesn't happen in giant, multi-hour chunks. It happens 1 second at a time, relentlessly, consistently. A single second is insignificant, but string billions of them together and you get mountains, civilizations, and galaxies. This is the power of what James Clear famously calls atomic habits. I like to think of them as quantum habits because they operate at the smallest, most fundamental level of action. This is the practical guide to flowing with time. First, focus on the next tick. Instead of a to-do list, have a first action list. Don't write, clean the garage. Your first action is pick up one tool. Don't write, Write the report. Your first action is open the document and write a single sentence. This is your quantum habit. It's so small, so non-intimidating, that your brain doesn't fight it. It bypasses the planning fallacy entirely. One tick of the clock, one small action, then the next. This is how you build momentum and slip into a flow state. Second, manage your energy, not your time. The industrial era clock taught us that every hour is the same. Biology teaches us this is a lie. Your body operates on natural rhythms, known as ultradian rhythms. You have natural peaks of high-focus energy for about 90 to 120 minutes, followed by a 20-minute period where your brain needs to rest and recover. Stop scheduling tasks and start scheduling energy. Work with your peak. When you feel that high energy, do your deep, focused, quantum habit work. When you feel the trough coming, don't fight it with caffeine and willpower. That's trying to control the river. Instead, flow with it. Step away. Take a walk. Meditate. Let your mind recover. By honoring your energy, you accomplish vastly more than if you just brute force your way through the day. As the great mathematician Henri Poincaré said, his greatest insights came not while at his desk, but while stepping onto a bus or walking on the beach after periods of intense work. Third, adopt the sufficient for the day mindset. This is inspired by Stoic philosophy. At the start of your day, define a reasonable amount of progress. Not a monumental leap, but a sufficient step. Today, I will write 200 words, or I will clear one shelf of the garage, or I will answer 5 critical emails. Once you have accomplished that sufficient task, the pressure is off. Anything you do after that is a bonus. This completely reframes your day from a perspective of scarcity, I haven't done enough, to one of abundance, I have done what was sufficient, now I am free. This short circuits burnout and allows you to end your day with a sense of peace and accomplishment, ready to repeat the process tomorrow. Consistent, sufficient steps, repeated over time, build empires. Conclusion. So, let's throw away the idea of being a time manager. It's an arrogant, stressful, and ultimately futile role. Instead, become a time surfer, a time dancer, a connoisseur of the present moment. Stop fighting the clock. Start focusing on the next tick, the next quantum action. Manage your energy, not your schedule. Define what is sufficient for today, and then let go. You will be stunned to find that by relinquishing control, you gain a deeper power. You will produce better work, feel more at peace, and find that the river of time, which once felt like a terrifying force threatening to drown you, is actually carrying you exactly where you need to go. What's the one tiny quantum action you can take right after watching this? Let me know in the comments below. And if this idea changed your perspective, please like and subscribe for more ways to work with reality, not against it. Flow on.